your Google and search Frida loader GitHub. You will get Dinesh Shetty. I think it will be the first link, so you can download your Frida loader from there, which will enable you to install Frida on your. Let me start. I'll use another machine to present, but for a start, we can use this. I have shared a link that we're going to use. It's from one of the Android researcher, Kyle Benak. We'll use the application now just to try and analyze the application, try to understand how it works, and maybe hook one of the function so that you can understand of how Frida will run. As I said, the session will be very short. I'm not going into details of some things which you can do it on your own. As I know, on this session, I think everyone has basics on how to use their computers. So I'll just show you how we're going to use Frida to hook to a given application. So I'll start. Let me present my screen. Present window. So everyone can see my screen. So that is JADEX. Anyone who is not familiar with the JADEX, you can just raise your concern on the, but it's also a tool which you can download. For this, it's a JADEX GUI. So you just go on Google, search for JADEX GUI, then you can. On the chat.
Screen.
You cannot see my screen.
It's on screen.
Anyone else who cannot see my screen? Yeah, because I have two devices and the other one is showing very well. You can check on your end if you are not seeing. If you cannot see anything, you can check on your end. I think. Yeah, please check. So on JADEX, you can just go, then you open your Android application. Let me save no. So I'm going to open Injured APK like that. Then on Injured APK, so the main application. Anyone who has ever interacted with this Android application, it's for mostly it was for, he created it for CTFs. So there are different activities. Let me present the other screen so that you can see how the application is running. You can see the other screen. Anyone who cannot see the other screen. So this is the application. After you install it, it's called Injured Android. So like the first test is an XSS test that you can try for those who are into web application. You can try something like /svg/onload equals to, let me try. I don't know if this will work, but let me just try. And that one, and submit. Ah, you see now, it has been able to like pop an access. So that's test one. These are just the common ones. Then if you go to the login flag one login activity, you can see you don't know input the flag and push submit button, but you don't know the flag. See now, with this you just come to the source code. Let me present the other screen again so that you can see. I can present two screens as I go. Is 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 that is that okay, or it will not be able to do that? Let me try, and this will allow. Okay. As you can see, the other side, it's login flag one login activity. So we'll go to our source code and try to find flag one login activity so that we can see the implementation of that process. So that we can see where the flag one is compared with, so that we can try and find if it's hard coded on the application. So let me share this. So on the new, so we go and search for flag one activity. Flag, we come to end application, the execution of an activity. So we have three. Let me say, can I call it life cycle of an Android application? We have activities, then we have services. But let me just focus on activities. So activities, they are like the pages on an Android application. If you go to home page, that's a home. This it's a flag one activity. So on flag one activity, as you can see, the implementation, we have a implements view on click, then public void on click. Let's search for submit. So we have this submit flag. Submit flag is called when that submit button is clicked, I guess so. As you can see, submit version, the submit button is clicked, it will execute this function or this method. So in this method, the return type is a void, then the parameters is a view, then on the execution we have this edit text. Anyone who cannot see clearly, let me try and expand the view. So you can now see clearly. So we have edit text. Edit text like the input text, the space, the provision in which the application has provided for text input is what it's called edit text. So you initialize edit text. Edit text is equals to find view by ID r.id. This is now the ID of the edit text. Then I guess this another implementation. You can just hold control and click on this to see what it does. It returns a void, I think. Oh, this one checks if the value on the edit text is null, because as you can see, it tells you must not be null. So it checks if you've not inputted anything. Then it goes ahead if D dot so edit text, the provision in which we are supposed to input our text dot get text, it gets the text on the view, then dot to string, it converts now the input into a string, then it compares with this flag one. So this is the This is a text that is compared with what you've inputted on that edit text. So if it's the same, it will open flag one success dot class. It will open now. It's like, let's say it's a login page in which someone has implemented, and it's checking for password. So let's assume this is a password. So it is checking the password that you've inputted to this one. If they match, it will redirect you to the home page. If not, it will tell you login page. Let's try and maybe input any random string on that activity so that we can see its behavior. So I'll again present the other screen. Let me present the other screen. The 100 now. But I can just share the entire screen so that I can go ahead and try to do other stuff. My machine is on. Can you see the Android? So let's try and put, let me say, just a random string and try to submit. Any random string and submit. It's not doing anything. You see, you're not getting any results when you submit. But if you go now and try to, from what we had from our activity, it was flag one. Underscore 0, 1, 3. Let me submit. See, congrats, you found the flag. You see now, in this case, we've used the source code that we are assuming the developer had coded the password on the Android application. But let's say, for example, the developer has implemented a similar method, but the developer has not hard coded this flag one. How can we bypass the method so that we can open the flag one success class? Because as you can see, if we enter the correct flag, because we've seen from the source code, we've entered the correct as what the source code is comparing it to. We've entered the correct one. It has granted us access to the success activity. But now imagining we do not have the flag one, string hard coded here. Maybe it's being fetched from an online server, something like of which we have no access. So, or let's say the 100 queries for this stuff from an online server. Let's now try to like bypass this method without knowing the value of flag one, without necessarily inputting the correct let me say the correct string. So you have the source code of an Android application. So we will head to now our source code. Let me again share the screen on our source code. Then I'll share the other side in which you are going to now write a Frida. I wish I could share them on the same machine so that I can prevent going back and forth. Let me look for the decks so that I can share. Anyone with any questions so far? I can answer as I can answer as I go on. Any questions so far? Open file. It's called injured. Any question? The other machine is hanging, that's why it's taking time. The desk is heavy on the other machine. So we can still continue on this machine. I can show you how we can write the Frida script. So let me share this screen so that we can continue analyzing the source code. So we can try to like entire screen. Let me share the entire screen. And anyone who cannot see my screen. So we'll continue. So in this place we have this if these are a control structure which is checking if the input on the edit text matches that input. So I'll hold control, then open this method to see how its implementation is done. So as you can see, its implementation, it's a public static Boolean. So Boolean meaning it will return a true or a false. So it accepts object 1, then object 2, then
a new route into our app. However, if we create a folder API in here, it's something different that is happening. And server that is running.
So as you can see, the implementation on this method, which is being used, it will return. So it's checking. It's a one-liner in Java, but as you can see, it's checking if the first value is null. Then it checks again if the second value is null. If it's not null, then it will go ahead and check if object 1 equals to object 2. So it will check if this one is equals to this one. So it will compare the two strings. So if they are equal, it will return a true. If they are not equal, it will return a false. So that's why in this method, if this one, now this method returns, so it will be if true, then it performs this segment of the code. If true, then if false, then it will not perform this segment. So what we need to do is to hook this method, using Frida, then change its return type so that every time the method is called, it will always return a true. Then with that, you'll be able to bypass the method that has been put in, the verification that has been put in place. The other machine is still hanging, so I'll just go ahead and try to write for you the sample Frida script on this machine. So let me use Notepad. So to write Java Frida script. Remember, Frida scripts are written in JavaScript, so you'll have to have like a little knowledge on JavaScript. But with this new JADEX, it will be easier for you because you can just right click, then you copy as Frida snippet, then you go to your notepad, then you control V. You see, it has written like the entire method, but in form of a Frida script. So what you need to do in order to hook this method, you just add like, let me say, like a few things, which is java.perform. Let me wait as the other machine loads, so that. But these are, we are going to be writing in the Frida script. So java.perform, then you open and close. Not there. Everyone can see what I'm writing. Steiner. Wow. Okay, you know, mmenyamaza sana mpaka nashangaa kwa najiongelesha. So this will be like let me before I copy that, let me Control X. This will be like the major every Frida script will require this part in order to run. So after that, Java function, then now we can now paste our code. Forgot this is not a text editor. I'll explain each and every part of this code. I was indenting so that you can understand the code. So this is the first part that will now tell our Frida client that now these are Frida script which we'll be using to load. I'll show you the command that we'll use to. So you write a JavaScript like this one, which tells you let d equals to java.use d.m.b.d. This, we are using this class, the class in which the function is located. So the package is d.m.b. Then the class is b. So we'll add .b. That's why you have seen here it's written java.use d.m. So this is used to annotate that we are using that class. That class. So on that class, which method are we hooking to? So it's the method is a. So we'll come to our script. It say d a. Sometimes you can denote it as d.a. Then dot implementation. So you're now changing its implementation. Dot implementation is equals to function. Now you're writing the function that will be implemented. So the function, as you can see, our class was accepting two parameters, object 1, object 2. So we have there a function, two objects, object 1 and object 2. Then this one, since you are hooking to function, you'll try to log the values of those parameters, so that you can see what is being held on in those parameters. So after you've console and you've seen what is being held there, then you can now call the method on the end of the initial method that we are hooking. Now you are calling this method. If you want to like just to see how the method is running the parameter it is accepting, then call the method again without changing its implementation. This is how you will do. You now call let result equals to this dot a, then you pass the parameters that it was accepting, then you console the results. Now you're getting the results that is coming from the method, then we return the results. From our method, we want it to return always a true, so that whenever we click on the submit button, it will always check like we've entered the correct string. So every time it will always return a true. So if that's what you want, we'll change this to true, so that every time that method is called, it will always return a true. So if it returns a true, that means it will always be okay. If you call the method, it will pass. No, sir, at that point you enter any string, either wrong or correct, you'll be able to access the other machine, so that we can see that now the implementation. Any question? Any question on the Frida? Someone Benedict, you can now see clearly. This any question? Benedict, you can see clearly my screen. What is going on on the entire script, or
Yes,
is there any place you are lost?
No, I'm getting. I've never done Java, so much of Java, but I'm understanding the script.
Oh, okay. So if you understand the script, we are just now we hook on that specific method. Now at this point, we are like declaring the class that we are going to hook into. Then at this method, we are now saying class dot method. So it's class D, which is this one. Then method A. Then implementation is equals to. Now we are writing the function in which we'll change the implementation of that method that we've hooked to. So in this point, we are logging the output, the input, the parameters that have been input on that method. Then we now call the original method, so that we can see using those input what result it will have gotten for us. Then after that, we now log again the results to see the result that the initial method would have got. But now, since we want the method to always return a true, we'll change our return type to true. There's no need to write all this. If you just wanted, if you are straightforward, you wanted the method to just return true, there's no need of writing all this. So you can just remove all this, so that the implementation will be like this. Then when the method is called and you've hooked in a true. So let me start my Genymotion. Any question from anyone who has not understood anything? Because
Niko na swali. Hiyo ukiweka Hello, unasikika?
Unasikia vizuri sana.
Nilikuwa nasema ukiweka hizo dollar signs ni ku reference variable ya ndani.
Hapana, hizo dollar sign ni za niseme aje, ni si JavaScript wameleta, there's a new, niseme a new version of JavaScript, ndio maana naandika hivyo. Let me show you like just a raw version of how hiyo kitu inaandikwa ukiandika mwenyewe juu hiyo script imekuwa generated by Jadex na wanatumia the new convention ya JavaScript. Let me show you venye yangu ningeandika.
Ni ECMAScript.
Let me just share this. Everyone can see my screen. Anyone who cannot see what I'm presenting? So I'll go ahead. So this now is what I was talking about, like just something simple of how you would have hooked into that method. As I said earlier, java.perform function, the basic part, then this one. Now we've hooked into that method and changed its implementation so that it always returns a true. The method itself is let me go to, so it's so on my I'm using a HTC on Genymotion. If you want to use a virtual Android device, I prefer Genymotion. So I'll go ahead and start my Frida server. The one I was talking about, Frida Loader, this is the application for start an existing. If you are running it for the first time, you'll have to install and run latest Frida server. But if you are running it the second time, you can use for start the existing Frida server. So once you for start, you can continue. Then we can go ahead to our terminal. Let me try and expand text on my how do I? Is my terminal visible?
Tumia control and the plus button.
Yangu haifanye.
Control shift.
Kumbe umefanya hizi vitu sana bwana. Na usemi. So let me go ahead to see all the apps that are running so that you can get the package's name. We'll use Frida. Please note that you'll have to have installed Frida on your machine. You can search for that online. So I'll use Frida PS minus IAU and press enter. It will list for me all the applications that are running on the virtual device that I'm linked to. So this is the package injured Android. The package name, it's benak.injuredandroid. So we have the package name. So the script that I had written this script. I'll go to the location in which it is saved. Desktop hacking tools, then Frida land.js. So it's on this folder. It's land.js something. Oh, this is it, land.js. So I'll use this application to now run. I'll use that script to now run to hook on the application. So let me hold it side to side so at least you can see, but I'll show you. So my command will be Frida. So my command will be Frida. -L is used to, it's a placeholder for the script. U is used to refer that we are connecting on a device connected via USB. So if I click enter, the application will be loaded. This time we will go to flag1. Then I try to enter any flag and click submit. As you can see, we've been able to access. Let me our script is not hooked into that method that is used to validate the input from this edit text. So it will always fail. It will return a false. So let me try and now modify this script so that you can see. Then we can go ahead and hook again the script and run. So let's go to flag1, enter any text. When you click submit, as you can see, I've been able to log the input on that method. The input on that method, that is the first parameter. Let me try and name this thing correctly so that everyone can see. The first parameter. First parameter is A. Then the second parameter is now, let's move to B. Let's go ahead, exit, open the application and run the application again. Then we go ahead to flag1, then enter any text, GDT, then submit. As you can see, on that function, the first parameter is GDD, then the second parameter is flag1. You see now, this is what is being compared. But earlier, we were returning true. That's why we are always going to the success activity. if I was to change this into false so that it always returns a false, if I was to change that and change it to a false, let me exit again and start it so that it hooks correctly. Then go ahead to flag 1. If I was to again, we know for sure that this flag 1 is what is expected. If we enter any, it will not accept. And we know for sure that if you were to enter flag 1 and submit, it is supposed to take us to the success page. But let us try. But we've hooked now to the application and it's now returning false every time it's being called. That method is being called. Let's try to enter the correct flag that is supposed to be entered. Flag underscore 1. You see now, it's not accepting. It's not going to the next activity because according to what we hooked to, it will always return a false. Let's try to see the result on the function as it was running. Dot A and B. The results. Then we go again. False. Exit. Then we run our application and the script again. So this time it will have to input to output for us on the terminal. We will get the first parameter, the second one, then what result is it getting from the function itself as it is being called. So let me just write anything and click submit. As you can see, the first parameter of that function is gf something, in which we put the second parameter. The result of the execution is false. That means this one and this one does not match as per how the method was being implemented by the developer. If you were to enter now the correct flag, which is flag underscore 1, and submit. You see, first parameter is flag 1, the second parameter is flag 1. So the result of the execution was to be true, but we are returning a false. That's why it's failing. It's not going to the next activity. So all in all, in what we wanted to do was to bypass the implementation of that method, and the implementation was to always return a true, so that we can bypass the security measures, the comparison measures that was put in place. So after changing that, we now head back to submit anything wrong and click submit. We'll be able to access to the success flag. So with that, I think I'll mark the end of my presentation with that. I'll welcome any question.
Niaje Oliver?
Posa, niambie.
Sasa mimi niko na swali, usijali, swali zangu ni moto kidogo lakini usijali. Sasa kwanza ni nikipitia Frida, niliona story ya overload. Pole. Nikipitia Frida nilikuwa naona story ya overload. So sikuelewa vizuri vile overload inafanya.
Sasa unaona hiyo stuff ya unaweza unda a method with the same name but different parameters, ndio inaitwa overloading, si ndio? Kwa Java, si ndio? So in Frida, so tukikuja hapa si ndio? Kuna moja inaweza kuwa ina compare 3 strings na ingine ina compare 2 strings. Unanipata? So if you are to hook, so na zote ziko on the same, for example, ziko on the same package, ziko on the same class. Of course ziko on the same class, si ndio? So tukitaka ku overload yenye iko na two functions, guess tunaongeza dot overload. Unaweka dot overload sasa, alafu ukiweka overload unaweka, for example, ina overload ina accept 2 parameters, of which ya kwanza ni string, ya pili ni string. Unapata? Ukienda sasa yenye kuna 3 parameters, utapata the same thing, but sasa utakuja hapa, si unaona hapo itakuwa since ni 3 parameters, alafu labda hiyo ya mwisho natumia int.
Nimeona.
Umepata? Basa uzuri ya Jadex itakusaidia kugenerate hizo nini. So kama in overload, lazima uongeze dot overload, implementation dot overload.
Sasa acha nikuulize ya pili. Ushaifanya hii stuff ya Google hii GDPR hii Google kwa fungua tab hapo. Hii Google Mobile Vulnerability Rewards Program hiyo.
Kuna jamaa anaitwa Serious. Yeye alikuwa anafanya ile yenye unatafuta application iko na more than some
100 million
users. I guess ni 100k users, then unatafuta vulnerability, ukipata you report to them.
Nilikuwa naangalia maneno nikaona huko ni shamba ya mawe bwana. Juu
ni tricky huko.
Sasa nilikuwa naulizia kama sijui labda naweza mhanda nimuulize juu nilikuwa nataka kumuuliza vulnerability gani zinalipwa juu. Wenye niliangalia listing yao ni kama as much as wanalipana hizo, walikuwa wanataka ufanye udeal na hardware ya simu. Like ukiangalia kwa bugs, sijui naweza kudropia link. Kuna bugs, zile bugs wako interested sana ni code execution. Hakuna code execution na ujaribu kuprevesk. Jadi so what was the question? So alafu kuna category nyingine hapo chini ya other bugs, lakini hawalipi sana. Sasa ndo nilikuwa nataka kujua hizo other bugs ni gani. Juu unaweza angalia story kama deep links hawalipani. Kama ufanyi prevesk.
But unajua kuna something about nisemaje hiyo the entire thing na kutafuta bugs. Unaweza pata bug. But exploitability yake iko chini. Most of the people watakureward. Juu utapata some bugs zitahitaji a lot of social engineering no get to a user. Ama utapata for example uko na XSS, yes, ina pop XSS, but you are unable to fetch data kutumia XSS. So that makes sense. Hata mimi kama ndo organization itakuwa ngumu kulipa juu why would I pay you and yet the exploitability of the bug iko next to zero. There's no need of paying a bug that it's not exploitable. Yes, it's a bug, but exploitability, it's
Impact.
The impact is very minimal.
Shukran.
Nah. Any question? Any other question? Anyone who has not understood anything? Can see we still have people joining, but yeah, and now welcoming question. For those joining, you can request the video from Steiner. Steiner. Na mtu aseme kitu, anything positive, kama umeboeka. Oh, if you're bored, if you're not bored, you can just say anything. So we can.